YCDBSOYA. You can't do business sitting on your ass. December 13th.
It's fine. We're not there yet. All right, take that off.
Did you bring a, what do you call it?
Tell me what you're going to do.
Can you answer me first? Why didn't you bring a tripod?
I don't need it. Tell me what you did. This is what I have. Deal with it.
I'm supposed to be prepared. So today I have another application design, what would that be called? I have another meeting with an application design company. I think it's with Jim Brokus, and we're going to discuss how he runs his company, or what it would do if I were to sign up with him. How would things go? Kind of general questions, stuff like that. Last week I sent out a demographic question, kind of basing, or I just kind of wanted to test the waters within my customer base, to ask questions like, do you find a problem in this industry? If what, how would you solve it? Would you pay for the solution? Questions such as that. Hey, buddy.
I got your email.
You did?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
The demographic
So
question?
the demographic question, I'm going to get right on that and get you some feedback. It's a good voice of the customer. I have a couple other suggestions then too by that email. Maybe some font changes.
Why not do Times New Roman?
I kind of like Arial better.
I like.
Times New Roman is just overdone these days.
What about the tab? I had to.
Fontana, perhaps. The reason why you wouldn't want a larger font though is just less eye strain. Every second to see the next word.
Oh, that's true.
Okay, when is your call?
4. We got clean up.
You just.
He was kind of saying how, like, I asked him, like, what would it be like, and then he said first you start with something called wireframing, and wireframing is just like, if you touch this, if you click this, it goes to this, and it kind of
like
gives
a
you
layout type.
Because I was doing layouts on my,
Yeah.
I was doing like little phones,
Right.
and they can download it on your phone, so you can kind of show investors or
I got you.
VCs.
Yeah.
And he says that starts at 3,500. So yeah, and so I was gonna sell my car to do all that shit. How's it going? So yeah, so I just want to get to know you guys a little better. Kind of ask what the whole design process is, and can you like tell me about your or integrated webworks?
Sure, absolutely. So we've been in business for about
17 years now, going to 18 years. We specialize in web design, application development, and online marketing.
So you have a marketing side too as well?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, the application itself, it's called Perspective. It's a discussion-based platform. The closest I can say it is like a Reddit.
But it's not an online platform, but it's nowhere even close to Reddit as well. But so the user, there's plenty of discussion rising marijuana. Let's just say that's the topic. So you'd either be for that, against that, or
Different. So you'd write about that and you kind of plug that in.
and based on, so you'd write that and there'd be people commenting on that, and like let's say people agree with that.
That would be promoted.
But you'd have to, the people who are 70% of people who wouldn't normally want marijuana to be legalized agree with you.
That would be promoted to the top because you're getting other minds to think, or they're just seeing a different perspective. And
everything that it posted is kind of gathering in one place.
yeah.
It could be kind of like if you go on like, I guess maybe Apple Podcasts, you kind of see a user and it shows all their podcasts, but this is all
Our hourly rate is $95 an hour for projects.
Mm-hmm.
And so we multiply that by whatever the hours it is, and we add a 5% on variance on top, and that will be the cost.
Gotcha.
But that's where you're going to visually see what your app's going to look like once it's completely done. Who owns the app once it's done, right?
Yeah.
So once we get fully paid, you own the 100% of the app. Development, design, everything is owned by you, and we hold 0% rights to it.
Get it out. So weird.
What'd you find?
Stop. This is ridiculous.
Turkey.
Oh, look at that. Not do this bullshit by myself. Mom. Yeah, I need a partner.
Oh, you're looking for a partner.
I need a business in partner.
But you don't want to pay him.
Yeah, I'll give them equity. Well, I said it has to be the right person. I need someone who is smarter than me. I need someone with me.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
Because I don't want to do it alone.
You're willing to give up part of your company just because you don't want to be lonely?
It has nothing to do with that. I just need someone with the business end.
Okay.
So for the consumer, why would they want to be on my platform? One, you have the unique promoted algorithm. Two, you have the availability of free speech.
Needs a suction.
Oh shit.
And go.
White as hell. I'm white.
You are white. It's because you stay in your basement.
Unique promoted algorithm. Free. Voting. Future Democratic voting system. Future Democratic system.
Is that better?
Yeah. Unique promoted algorithm, free speech promoted, future democratic system. So as a contributor, why would you want to use the app? Yeah, I know, non-biased approach.
What is that one online where people can add stuff to it all the time?
Wikipedia.
Wikipedia. Because if you're just letting Google fact check, you're going to have
Then you're in the same
a
position
buttload
as-
of wrong opinion. You're going to have, you're going to be
Where did I
back
say-
into biased.
Didn't say that.
They're going to be pulling information from biased content.
Why did you think Google was fact checking?
Because that's what you just said.
No, I.
How come? Yeah. What about your company is fascinating you so much? I'm very curious.
Just because I think it I sound like a.
So what is what's the idea? What's the business idea?
So, the business is called Perspective. The basis of it is it's a discussion-based app or a kind of like a debating-based app that is rather than kind of further polarizing, but it's a discussion-based app that promotes kind of consensus.
Oh, a lot of debating goes on Twitter and with vitriol and anger and
So-
everybody pissed at everybody.
So
And no consensus happening.
well, the basis of so Twitter, their platform or their algorithm they use is everything is boosted to the top and to the trending, all through comments and clicks. So all those comments can be negative, which a lot of them are, and they can still be boosted to the top. Do you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You do? So the algorithm put in place, like an Instagram, or so you know why you see Twitter, it says trending, or those are
Because
all
of the hashtags, yeah.
hashtags based on viewership, based on clicks.
Sure. Oh, sorry, back to your... So that's Twitter. Is relatively not very smart in terms of trends. It's just based on the hashtag and how many people are tweeting it. And, sorry. So somebody writes about whatever
You
the
write
topic.
about pro. And so those commenters, there's algorithms put in place. I had long calls with like a couple advertising agencies as well as algorithm kind of builders. I had like an hour and a half conversation with one of them after school, and I wanted to know if there was an algorithm put in place that could actually read a comment and could kind of assess what that comment is saying. So let's say someone comments, okay, I do agree with those, or let's say they put an emoji or something. You see Twitter, what's a normal comment on Twitter? If they agree with something.
She would know more than I. I'm not.
They do a thumbs up, like a like.
Yeah. So let's say it's like that, or let's say someone actually comments like a certain thing. That algorithm would already know that commenter, it would already know their normal likes and dislikes, and if you have changed their perspective in any way, if they've normally been liking things that have
If your algorithm depends on changing minds, the algorithm will never kick off because it almost never happens. You don't
There's
have.
debate if you actually listen or if you're just basically looking for information that confirms what you've already thought.
How confusing the world is, so a narrative of what you're seeing, you have to introduce something on a platform.
There's got to be something that brings two sides together.
My interest in seeing a debate is not to have my mind changed. I just want to have a different perspective by somebody who's intelligent that doesn't share my view. I probably won't have my mind changed. I just want to see two people getting along with each other and not shutting each other down and not screaming at each other. Like, I view that as the goal of civilization. Losing is the ability to have different opinions and be civil with each other. And so watching people just have completely different opinions on things, discuss it, and walk away friends.
And not attach it to a party line.
And not, or attach it or not attach it, but just walk away civil is we so bad, we're dying for that. And whether minds are changed or not changed is not material. The algorithm can find a civil argument going on. Theoretically. So one of the I every once in a while I'll have a civil argument on Twitter, and they are always different than non-civil, in that the non-civil ones there's a lot of name calling going on. So you can, I assume any algorithm can see based on how that person has engaged with the platform, Republican versus let's just say liberal versus conservative. The algorithm can then say a liberal and a conservative are talking to each other and there's no name calling going on. You can boost that conversation.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
That objective function will trigger. That will trigger. And it will promote civil discussion.
Will take a fucking ton of work.
Yeah.
That's the core of your
Nothing's good.
value.
But that's really good.
Imagine like hitting that gold mine.
What?
Like
Being able to do that.
finding that algorithm.
Nothing to do that would be just, brilliant's a strong word, but I mean, it would be great to find that, to boost things. That would be one avenue to get to civility, right? I mean, it's one way to get there.
Yes, I do think so, yeah. Yeah, I think that objective function will hit from time to that objective, if you have that as the objective function, that will trigger.
But then it can bring more people to do that if they see that on that platform.
If your platform is boosting civil conversations, then they're being rewarded, that could actually drive more civil conversations. Yes, I agree. That would
So
happen.
basically, that's the same exact. You're just switching the hit point.
Yeah, you're just switching the objective function.
Because it would, in time, turn to it.
So the objective is not changing minds. It's two people who are different. One is, conservative, and one was liberal, as an example, are having a civil conversation, i.e. there's no name calling going on. You boost that conversation. And the more you do that, because people do like their stuff being boosted. And so that will be rewarded. And that could draw more people to do more of that kind of thing.
And you couldn't even fake it either because your identity would be on that platform. So you couldn't fake it to make it to, because your whole point of making it to the top would be based on that.
Yeah.
So if you faked it to make it, then
Yeah, once you start, if you get to the top and you start name calling, then it's over.
Fall down off
Yeah,
your-
then it's over.
there's a lot of other
So
little
it has like a
tangible stuff
Pavlov
too.
kind of,
Oh, it's like carrot and stick type thing?
yeah, you're gonna buzz them and give them a shock.
Maybe not like that.
They have bad behavior. You only reward the good
We
behavior.
ask you to please put this
Bad
button on.
behavior, no, you can't play.
And I also want to do full transparency on fact checking and or censorship.
What does that mean?
Because Twitter can take something off and just say it doesn't fit with our terms and guidelines. Or
Yeah.
You wanna
YouTube
say
should just
why.
take
They don't- yeah, why doesn't-
I want to give a report on why we would do something like that. So there's full disclosure.
Indeed.
And I
Yeah.
think that would just kind of
Yeah,
But what would be those guidelines? I mean,
well,
how
you'd
do
have-
you derive at that conclusion that something
well,
is
that's,
allowed to?
okay,
I mean,
so
that's
now,
kind of the question.
yeah,
well then there.
Most of the planes landed at
heard Paul was like, "Yay!" I've waited patiently.
I've waited patiently for this question.
And camera goes up.
Turn it off, though. Carl, turn it off.
No, I mean, and I'm
Doesn't matter how we come up with the algorithm.
To change perspective. The original thought was to have an algorithm within the app.
And if they started to agree with something they didn't conventionally agree with in the beginning, then that would upgrade the training. So the first two components are the number of likes and the number of viewership. Let's say, in my case, there are 10,000 people, followers in general. Followers have nothing to do with likes or dislikes. I mean, I guess I could follow you.
Then another 100,000 people follow me, like or not, they follow me. Let's say those two factors constitute 50% of my rating that determine, I'm not really sure what the objective function is. That's what it, what's the third component? Tell me that the algorithm will determine.
Then you'd comment back what you said, and if the algorithm
Turned into you saying blah, 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 blah. It was just
Now the question is, how do you read that commentary in order to determine is it positive? Is it aligned with my thinking or not aligned with my thinking? Right? That's what essentially you're trying to do. That's very easy to do. That those kind of algorithms written all the time. That's not hard. The question that really is, let's say,
we're able to write a good algorithm and determine that what Arnold said is, let's say, likes. He agrees with it. That was just a case study. That was something one person.
then you'd have to add.
no problem. So let's say 100,000 people. Out of the 100,000 people, using the algorithm, we are able to determine that 70,000 love Sanjeev, 20,000 kind of like me, and the remaining, whatever is left, hate me.
What did you say? You heard
$1 million revenue.
disgusting.
Thanks, Dad. That's good.
Come on, dude. Lyman, what are you doing here? Are you texting your ex-girlfriend? Do you know what she's up to today?
I got the here's from the lawyer.
What'd she say?
I haven't
Let
read
me
it.
want
I
to
haven't
hop
read
on
it.
a
Can
call
you
to
read it out
discuss.
loud?
Besides the second point, but obviously you could drive here.
What up? It's Lyman. This is what I'm doing today. I don't know if I can see the camera. Bang! I'm doing kind of DIY wireframing so I can cut the cost of how much it would normally cost me with kind of a development team. I'm trying to cut the cost or hours by giving them kind of an already set system of what I want. So, for example, this says popular users, so kind of like this is like the beginning of it. Kind of got the phone, and I'm still making these. So yeah, that's what I'm up to today. Not much, but got some new Birkenstocks. Some new Birkenstocks, pretty nice. I didn't want to be like normal guy and do that, so yeah. Check back. And just a random thought I had today. You never know as much as you think you know. Thank you.